Hi, thanks for tuning in today, guys. We're going to be going over the top 3 best cards in Marching Machine. I'm Jason.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Nick.
And this is Velvet Games. So, to get into it, we're each going to list out a card, starting from 3 to 2 to 1, and then give you a little surprise at the end for those who stick around. But if you're watching this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and hey, comment below. We kind of want to hear what you have to say too. But with that said, let's get into it. Starting from left to right, we're going to read the card, and then each of us are going to have 30 seconds to argue why that card should be in the third slot. So, Austin, go ahead and start with your card.
So number 3 for me is Elish Norn. It is a 4 mana, that's 2 white and 2 colorless for a 3/5 with vigilance. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you or a permanent you control, that source's controller loses 2 life unless they pay 1, a colorless. You pay 2 and a white, sacrifice 3 other creatures, exile Elish Norn, and then return it to the battlefield, transform it under its own other side. It turns into a saga called the Argent Etchings. The first part of it is incubate 2 5 times, then transform all incubator tokens you control. The second one is creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain double strike until end of turn. And then 3, destroy all other permanents except for artifacts, lands, and Phyrexians. Then exile and then flip it back.
All right, so that's for your the third slot.
Yes.
All right, my third slot is also a flip one. It's Polukranos Reborn. All right, and if you check out our other video, that is one of the cards that Austin mentioned in his top 10. So for 3 green mana, it is a legendary Hydra with reach, 6 white Phyrexian, transform it, and then it's a 4/5 on the front. Then if you transform it, it has reach and lifelink. Whenever Polukranos, Engine of Ruin, or another non-token Hydra you control dies, create a 3/3 green and white Phyrexian Hydra creature token with reach, and a 3/3 green and white Phyrexian Hydra creature token with lifelink. So, we can use the reasons, but that's the card. Yeah. That's my number 3.
So my number 3 is Invasion of Ikoria. It's one of the new card types, the battle. It is X and double green, and it says when Invasion of Ikoria enters the battlefield, you search your library and or graveyard for a non-human creature card with mana value X or less, and you put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle. If it loses all 6 of its, I believe they're called siege counters, I don't exactly remember what the counter is.
Defense counters.
Yeah, defense counters. If it loses all 6, it flips into Zalortha, Apex of Ikoria. It is an 8/8 with reach. It's a legendary dinosaur. And it says for each non-human creature you control, you may have that creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked.
All right. Okay. So, Nick, you're going to start us off?
All right, Seth. Yeah. So you will have 30 seconds.
All right, 30 seconds as soon as Nick starts.
Yep. So, I mean, obviously, this fits into my number 3 slot because it's arguably a better Court of Calling. Court of Calling does exactly the same thing for X and triple green, and it only does your library. Invasion of Ikoria does your library and graveyard for the exact same Court of Calling effect, and then flips into not only a powerful beater, but a powerful beater that is going to make every other beater in your green or multicolored green deck assign their damage as though they were never blocked to begin with. It doesn't matter how many things you throw in front of it. If it's a 15-15 swinging in, it's going to get that 15
That's
damage
turn.
out.
All right. So I guess I'll follow up with why Polukranos should be number 3.
Okay.
All right. So, you like Wormcoil Engine? Here's a Wormcoil Engine. You like Hydras? Here's more Hydras. So you just take the both, and boom. You play Maskwood Nexus, everything that dies gets you 2 Hydras. Every single time. Why I don't think the Court of Calling should be the top 3 is because there's 6 siege counters onto it. You have to dump whatever mana value you want to get that creature plus 2 green. And Elish Norn, I could see the case, but I'm going to go Polukranos. And that's time.
Yep. All right. So why I think Elish Norn is number 3 is because, number 1, it just stops people from attacking you because of mana reasons and then or just life reasons, so it could just save you the game. And then on the back, it just makes you a crap ton of creatures on its own. You can do it every single time and constantly flip it when it flips back and forth from the saga. It also just buffs your board, and then also is just a board wipe for all your stuff, or for everything against your stuff. It's personally, I can see Nick's point. Polukranos is very skewed, so that's why I think that.
That is time. All right. Well, those are what we think to be the top 3. If you guys think you guys have something different, let us know in the comments. Let's go to number 2.
Okay.
So again, to refresh you guys, we're going to read the card, and then our 30-second timer is going to start.
Yes. Then I guess at the end of this, we can kind of see if we change our minds.
Yeah.
On all of them.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So, okay. All right. So my number 2 is City on Fire. It is a 8 mana. It's 5 colors and 3 red for an enchantment with Convoke. It says if a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple that much damage instead.
Spicy.
So mine is also a red card. I mentioned in my top 10, it is Chandra Hope's Beacon, 4 and 2 red, legendary planeswalker. What deck can't use a planeswalker? And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. That's the static effect. Its +2 is add 2 mana in any color combination of colors. +1 is exile the top 5 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from among those exiled cards. And then -X, Chandra's Hope's Beacon deals X damage to each of up to 2 targets, and it comes out with 5 loyalty counters.
Solid.
Okay.
So my number 2 is Ayara, Widow of the Realm. She's 1 and double black for a 3/3 legendary creature, Elf Noble. She has a tap ability, sacrifice another creature or artifact. Ayara, Widow of the Realm, deals X damage to target opponent or battle, and you gain X life, where X is the sacrifice permanent's mana value. She has a second line of text for 5 and a Phyrexian red. Transform her, activate only as a sorcery. She transforms into Ayara, Furnace Queen. She becomes a 4/4 legendary Phyrexian Elf Noble and says, at the beginning of combat on your turn, return up to 1 target artifact or creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, and you exile it at the beginning of the next end step.
Okay.
All right, Nick. You get to start us off again.
Yep, starting us off. So Ayara's in my number 2 because she slots right in with almost all sort of aristocrat format decks. She does it kind of slightly better in the fact that you can do creatures and artifacts. You get a ping effect and a life gain effect, but the ping isn't limited to just opponents. It also could do to the battles if your opponent happens to have one out. When she flips to the other end, she's a really good reanimator for artifacts and creatures in and of themselves. She gives them haste and allows them to come back and do whatever it is they were doing before, but faster if you need them to really get in there and get in hard.
That is time. All right. So why you should choose Chandra is she's a planeswalker. She goes in any red deck. She copies your spells. She gives you mana as well as can burn your opponents, 2 of them at the same time for her loyalty. I like Ayara, but she's super niche. If you're not playing her in something that's sacrifice or recursion, there's no reason. Chandra can literally go into any red deck. And so can Austin's spell. However, it's so much mana, but it has Convoke, so I might be convinced.
Pretty good.
City on Fire, big damage, Unga Boonga. Chandra, little lady, no Unga Boonga. Ayara, little lady, no Unga Boonga. Big damage, Unga Boonga.
Oh, God.
You can get it out really quick. Sure, it has a high mana cost, but like if you're playing in the right deck, you can get it out for like you can either use creatures to take its damage or its mana cost down, or you can just cast it full out for all your creatures, and then this does it for any damage. That hurt my chest, by the way.
Yeah, that's you went a little monkey brain there.
Ow.
Yeah, it was you went a little solid monkey brain there.
Those are our top 2s.
These are our top 2s.
Again, who do you think?
Yeah, just let us know whoever won. We're like we said, we're gonna go at the end of all of this, including the last one.
Yeah.
But my number 1 is Guardian Scale Lord. It is a 5 mana 3/4 dragon with backup 1. So backup is when it enters battlefield, you can put a 1/1 counter on target creature. If that's another creature, it gains the following abilities until the end of turn. It has flying, and whenever this creature attacks, return target non-land permanent card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is this creature's power.
I need a second. Skip me.
Skip you?
Huh?
Did they come back?
I can't find the card.
Okay, that's fine. Mine will be pretty quick because we've already talked about it. Jason, this was actually in your top 10. My number 1 is Urabrask. So he's 2 and double red for a 4/4 legendary Phyrexian Praetor with first strike. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Urabrask deals 1 damage to target opponent, and you add a red mana. For 1 red mana, you exile him, then return him to the battlefield, transform under its owner's control, activate only as a sorcery, and only if you've cast 3 or more instant and sorcery spells this turn. What does he transform into? Well, we've already talked about it in Jason's list, but he transforms into the Great Work. Chapter 1 of the saga reads, the Great Work deals 3 damage to target opponent and each creature they control. Pretty solid. Chapter 2, create 3 treasure tokens. Also pretty solid. Chapter 3, until end of turn, you may cast instant and sorcery spells from any graveyard. If a spell would be cast this way, If a spell cast this way would be put into the graveyard, you exile it instead. Then you exile the Great Work back face up as Urabrask. Pretty solid number 1.
So I've made a last minute change. All right. My number 1 was going to be Conclave Sledge Captain, but I decided I'm going to go for the big kahuna himself. My number 1 is Bright Palm Soul Awakener. That's our number 1 for Commander.
Okay.
And he's 1 red, green, white. So Naya. Backup 1. Whenever this, and you can read backup in your own time.
Yeah,
whenever this creature attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counters on target creature. That creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less this turn, and it is a 4/3. So
Pretty
I'm
solid.
ready to argue this right now. I'll start.
Hold on. So this is your number.
This is my number 1 best card from this set.
Okay.
Okay.
Go. All right. It's not as versatile as any other. I'm going to make your arguments for you. I'm going to go 8 Mile. It's not as versatile as any others, and it's limited to 4 mana, so it's going to take a while to get out. It's a 4/3, and it only has backup 1. However, it's an ETB trigger, so you could just blink it. In those colors, it's super easy to blink. Secondly, it doubles the number of +1/+ counters on other creatures, and it makes those creatures unable to be blocked by power 2 or less. So try chump blocking with all your tokens when you can't block at all. I'm done.
Fair. Honestly, fair.
Was it me or Nick?
Go ahead, bud.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right, so this is mono white. It can go in any white deck, including, multicolor decks. This is literally just an almost better version of Sun Titan, just because you get to put the 1/1 counters on it, but you also get to make it onto another creature. That's kind of it, honestly, just because Sun Titan is already one of the best cards in Commander. Like you can do a lot with it, and the fact this can hit anything and then scale upwards as you're playing, it's fantastic recursion.
Okay. So why I think Urabrask should be number 1 is because he's already taking the best of what Mono Red likes to do in terms of Mono Red Spellslingers, but taking it just a step further. Birgi is already seen as a pretty solid Mono Red Spellslinger commander already. Urabrask just takes Birgi and takes it a step further. Not to mention the Saga side of it is super versatile in what you're already trying to do with your Mono Red deck. And honestly, I just think as a solid Mono Red commander on its own, I think it more likely than not is going to outperform most other mono red commanders.
That's time. All right, those are where we think our top 3. Now, going through the list, has your opinion on any of them changed?
All right, so let's start on number 3.
Number 3.
So we had Elesh Norn, we had
Pelucranos,
and Invasion of Ikoria.
Mine has not changed.
I think mine has changed, Elesh Norn. I think you
Norn.
convinced me.
No, I'm still sticking by Invasion of Ikoria.
Okay. All right,
just because Court of Calling already gets played a lot in a lot of green decks. This is just a better Court of Calling.
Fair.
If you say so.
All right, so number 2, City on Fire, Chandra, and Ayara.
Oh, yeah.
No. Oonga Boonga. Mine has not changed.
1,000% not changed.
Mine has changed for City on Fire just because Fiery Emancipation is already seen as a big bombastic finisher card. The fact that you have the potential to get a Fiery Emancipation out for free in the best case scenario is pretty solid overall.
It's hot.
Also, I do agree, Oonga Boonga. My brain did go a little monkey mode there. When you said Oonga Boonga big damage, I said, yeah, I do like Oonga Boonga big damage.
All right, and our number 1s.
So I had Guardian Skill Lord.
I had Bright Palms.
And I had Urabrask.
For me, it's really hard between mine and Urabrask because they're both really good for what they do.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I'll still stick with Guardian Skill Lord, though.
Okay. I'm still sticking with Urabrask. As much as I love Bright Palms, and just as a little thing, I will be playing that deck in the Commander deck video for later on.
Mm-hmm.
I like Bright Palms. Bright Palms is cool. I just wish it was a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because if it's only coming out for 4 with a backup 1, that I wish it was either backup 2 or if it was a bit higher power or a bit higher toughness. 4-3 is pretty easy to respond to.
Maybe like
in
backup
9 times
1,
out of
backup
10.
1.
Yeah, like
Maybe
backup
two
1,
separate
backup 1
ones.
would have been pretty good. I think for the most part, especially because it cares about the whole, like, you know, doubling the 1/1 counters on attacking creatures.
Yeah.
I like Urbrask. I'm going to slide back to my boy Urbrask. He's my number 2 on my top 10 for a reason. I think he's really good. So, sorry, Bright Palm.
He's
You're
solid.
cute. You're
I don't. Red is not one of my favorite colors to play most of the time, but he's solid. He's honestly solid.
All right, and for our last argument, debate, is the best commander from this set. Okay?
Okay.
Best commander.
Best, strongest.
Strongest.
Commander.
Yeah.
Best and strongest.
right.
I'm ready to.
Is
see
everyone
some-
ready?
I'm ready to see some fists fly potentially. This might get a little heated, depending.
Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm ready.
Mine is Shalai and Halar. It is the Naya, also in the Bright Palm deck. It is a 4-mana 3/3. It has flying vigilance. Whenever 1 or more 1/1 counters are put on a creature you control, Shalai and Halar deals that much damage to target opponent.
Okay. Solid.
Mine is Gorogoro and Satoru. Grixis go fast. Grixis hurt hard. It says whenever 1 or more creatures you control that enter the battlefield this turn deal combat damage to a player, create 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying. 1 red creatures you control gain haste until end of turn.
Okay. Solid. So I chose mine for best and strongest. I chose Zurgo and Ojutai. So the reason being is because they are 2, a blue, a red, and a white for a 4/4 flying haste legendary orc dragon. It says Zurgo and Ojutai has hexproof as long as it's entered the battlefield this turn. The next line of text says whenever 1 or more dragons you control deal combat damage to a player or battle, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. You may return 1 of those dragons to your hand.
All right, so you ready to argue it? That's what
Yeah.
you're saying right now?
Hold on. Before we start, so this is no longer 30 seconds. This is a minute, correct?
This is
Yep.
a minute.
Okay.
We're going-
are we,
we're
doing, are we
going- we're
changing any
going-
of the rules?
We're going school presidential
No.
debate with this
Same
one.
deal.
Okay.
Same deal.
So we're starting from that end and coming this way?
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
All right, Nick, whenever you're ready.
Okay. So why I think Zurgo and Ojutai is going to be the strongest is because for the longest time, Jeskai Dragons as a commander staple sort of deck has had to struggle a little bit. There hasn't really been any who fit into the slot of a good candidate that makes the deck strong in and of itself. I think Zurgo and Ojutai meets that sort of condition. The fact that you essentially get Ojutai, Dragonlord Ojutai's anticipate trigger for any dragon that swings in and hits is pretty good. Ojutai giving itself hexproof as long as it enters means that you have a way to pretty much guarantee that it's protected anytime it hits the board if you have any way to blink or flicker it. At the same time, having the clause of text saying that you get to return a dragon to your hand means that whatever dragon you decide to swing in wide with for that anticipate trigger and for whatever combat tricks or combat damage triggers from there on is now protected because you get to put that dragon back in your hand and then do it again later on. I think for Jeskai Dragons, I think Zurgo and Ojutai is the commander that they've been wanting for so long.
Well, that was cute.
You're cute, Jason.
But are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Also,
Cue
hold on.
music.
Hold on.
Okay.
Really quick.
Yeah.
Don't mean to stop this. A fun thing for you to try out. Jeskai Dragon board wipes. Go ahead.
Cue music. Do you like winning games, kids? Here it is. It's red, black, blue. So you get all of your little creatures in and out fast. You get a bunch of haste that you could just put out and hit people with. And you're dealing these damage quicker than your opponents can usually react. And you're playing blue, so you can react to their reaction. So, you like Jeskai Dragons? Well, how about Grixis Dragons? How about 5/5s on turn 4 that you're ready to win the game? Everybody only has 40 life. So, 8 dragons means you win. At least you kill somebody. And at that point, you're ready to kill everybody. Yes, you'll make yourself a threat fast. But with the black and blue at your hands, you'll be able to respond fast and deal with the threats coming at you. Now, I don't even remember Nick's commander. Doesn't matter. That's how poor it is. All right? And Shalai and Lar. Shalai and Lar, meh.
Go ahead. So anyways, you want to go infinite with the commander, like super easy. You ever heard of walking ballista? Yeah, it's kind of like that in a sense. You have to do it a little different, but so Shalai, obviously, whenever you put 1/1 counters onto stuff, Shalai deals the damage, right? So with Heliod, you give it lifelink. The Heliod that I'm talking about, when it says when you gain life, you put them in 1/1 counter, or you put a 1/1 counter onto it, you go infinite, just like walking ballista. However, if you're playing anything with 1/1 counters, anything, doesn't matter what it is. You have Hydras, you have things that literally like Mana Gorger Hydra, so whenever anyone casts something, Forgotten Ancient, anyone casts something, Colonian Hydra, you attack, double everyone's counters, someone's probably just dead. That's it. Honestly, like, and on top of that, they don't die from Shalai's trigger, you have like 40/40s. You can't really beat that.
Well, those are our arguments.
Yep.
Let us know in the comments below. Feel free to put your top commander in there. Hey, send us a video. And if you want, you can even check out our website, myvelvetgames.com. It's getting new, We're working on it. But if you want to check it out and enjoy it, let us know. Hope you enjoyed this. Take it easy. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed videos like this, you should like and subscribe. Maybe even hit that bell so you can see some more stuff in the future. We're going to be here for it.
If you want to hang out with us and other nerds, even send us some of your dank memes, click the link below to join our Discord. It's totally free.
And if you want to support the channel further, you can check the description for links to the Patreon, where there you can access higher levels of Discord, other channels, other types of geekdom, and any sort of behind-the-scenes content and even prototype merch in the future.
If you're still watching, thank you so much. We appreciate it. You helped make this dream a reality. Have a great week, and we hope to see you again real soon. Real soon.